And a good Friday afternoon, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. We're looking at the outlook, and first, at large, North America. We have colder temperatures across the north, with a little bit of a boundary here, supporting warmest temperatures in the Gulf Coast states coming out of the southwestern plains and stretching a little bit into parts of New England. This is being erased slowly now with this trough of lower pressure kind of rolling on through and producing a little bit of scattered snow shower and flurry action along with colder temperatures. You can see that some of that snow shower activity stretches well back into parts of Canada, Saskatchewan, and so on and so forth. Out of the Pacific, they continue the onslaught of the atmospheric river with numerous storms that daisy chain back into parts of the western Pacific. And the main action across North America is by far affecting the California Pacific Northwest coast with an onslaught of these very strong Pacific weather systems. But overall for us, it's going to be a relatively quiet period once this trough of lower pressure moves on out and we get into a pretty nice day, especially by the time we get to Sunday. Let's take a look at the latest model. On the left side, we have the European, on the right side, the GFS Ensemble. This is valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon, or 18Z. And what we have is this kind of weak weather system that's rolling across mostly southern and eastern parts of Vermont, depositing a little bit of snow in some of the higher terrain and greasing up some of the roads down in those locations. But overall, missing the northern and western areas. But this trough's going to swing through, so we're going to get some kind of off and on periodic snow shower, flurry action as we go into tonight and into the morning hours on Saturday. It might linger just a bit into the afternoon, but for the most part, this area of higher pressure is going to start to build in for Saturday night. And even though it's a fairly weak ridge, 1031 hectopascal, 1030, this is going to be controlling our weather and bringing us probably one of the sunniest days we've seen in, it seems like, weeks. And with really good solar generation, all of that taking place on your Sunday. Now the modeling thereafter gets a little bit different. This ridge of higher pressure, for example, off the east coast is going to be pushing away. So it's going to start to close up with some jet stream energy coming in, kind of cutting a little bit to the south of us. Right now, the GFS Ensemble is indicating that that might cut into Vermont on Monday, Sunday night, Monday. I'm going with the European on this, and I'm thinking that might stay a little bit to the south, but there could be some effects by that on at least southern Vermont, so we'll have to wait and see. But this is valid about 15Z Monday, that's 10 o'clock in the morning, that's 2 o'clock, 3, 4, so things do move on out anyway in the afternoon, so it's a quick hitter. And then we have this weather system, this kind of Alberta Clipper system that's going to be pushing into the region. Models are in relatively good agreement on this jet stream energy coming in out of the northwest. This is pretty cold up here now, and so we cool things down a little bit. This is valid again along about Tuesday. One of the other things of note is that the GFS Ensemble just kind of loses it in terms of its whiskers or plumes, and we start to see some big variations. So the models really do diverge considerably. And once we get past Tuesday, we still see some high pressure over Hudson Bay or trying to work its way south, north of the Great Lakes and ridging into the region, which could bring us some fairly nice settled weather once we head into the end of next week. This is the 06Z GFS Ensemble, and what it shows us here is that we have the 3-hourly QPF, just a little bit of flurries or light rain shower action, and then some dry weather, a little bit more, and so on and so forth. Really not a whole lot to show you here, but total QPF is pretty limited. This is 0.2 of an inch. And just looking at precipitable water possibilities, 0.4 of an inch, that's kind of dry for this time of year, actually, even. You can see the model divergence going on along about Tuesday, and that's very significant. We'll get back to that here in a second. In terms of precipitation types, it's predominantly snow, little tiny mixes indicated, but really we're looking at predominantly snow, but then again, not very much of it. One uptick, and that's about it. Little second uptick, and so on and so forth. And this latest model run in the blue line here shows you, and this is again centered off the Montpelier grid, that's pretty limited. By now, I think everybody knows what an atmospheric river is, and, well, this is the recipients, the California, Sierra Nevada, the coastal ranges, a little bit into Southern California, even the LA Basin getting some pretty good rainfall here. Of course, this is, we're seeing batch after batch work on through, hits the Rockies, puts in some snow and whatnot. Lately, the jet stream energy has fallen apart a little bit more as it heads eastbound, but note, kind of a drier period working our way. And then a secondary kind of Gulf of Mexico kind of a signature with that rightward curve. And looking at the temperature anomalies across most of North America running above normal, a little bit of colder air here, and so on and so forth that associate with that old upper low. Of course, that's working across the region, but it's even as it does, it's still anomalously warm. The real cold stuff's up around Greenland. Polar vortex is a little bit stronger right now. So consequently, the latest indications, by the way, are it could be a perturbed polar vortex that may actually, a sudden stratospheric warming event is not out of the question, but this will be well down the road a piece, and we'll be talking about that over time. But in the meantime, right now, it's a warm signal. Here is that warm signal. It's a little bit cooler than normal out west, but not too far off neutral. And then we're running above normal, anywhere from 9 to 6 degrees above normal, pretty much east all the way to the east coast. Looking at, this is for the next 5 days of high temperatures, according to the meteorological output statistics. And then 3 days later, about 3 to 6 degrees above normal. Very similar Pacific onslaught to continue. And looking back a little bit closer, zooming in here, we've picked up around 2.5 inches in some of our local higher terrain here, coming out of Massachusetts, across southern parts of Vermont into eastern sections of the state. And it's currently snowing pretty good, and that will continue across portions of New Hampshire. Most of this is going to swing on east, and we're going to get a little bit more of this business a little bit later on today. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.